Stop everything you are doing right now. Archangel Michael is standing before you at this very moment with an urgent message from the throne of heaven. What you are about to hear before this sacred encounter reaches its final word carries the exact answer tied to the breakthrough you have been desperately waiting to witness. Do not click away. Do not scroll past this. Do not let anything pull your attention from what heaven is delivering into your hands right now. If you leave before the final word, you risk pushing the very miracle your spirit has been crying out for even further beyond your reach. I am deeply moved that you paused your entire world to let me enter this sacred space of your day. You were seconds away from making a devastating mistake by turning your back on this encounter at the most critical crossroads of your spiritual journey. You would have carried the same unanswered burdens and wrestled with the same invisible chains for far longer than your heart could endure. There is nothing coincidental about what is unfolding before your eyes right now. You are genuinely and profoundly blessed because the entire host of heaven has conspired to deliver this specific message to you at this precise moment in your existence. Archangel Michael has descended from the highest courts of glory to speak directly into the deepest chambers of your soul, something your spirit has been starving to receive for your entire lifetime. What you have entered into is a holy appointment that was scheduled for you before your mother even knew she was carrying you. The intricate details of this very hour were orchestrated by divine hands, and those same hands gently guided your attention to this exact place at this exact second. Please remain here with me, because what Archangel Michael is about to declare over your life will permanently alter the trajectory of your future. Do not leave. This is the moment your spirit has been silently anticipating in the hidden chambers of your heart. You are known. You are cherished beyond human measurement. You have been handpicked from among billions. Give your complete attention to every word that follows, because each syllable flows directly from the eternal heart of the Most High straight into yours. You are not consuming this message by random chance. There is zero probability that your presence here is accidental. You are positioned in this sacred space because the Almighty Creator of every galaxy and every grain of sand called you here long before your earthly story began, before your very first heartbeat echoed through your mother's womb, before the first molecule of oxygen ever filled your newborn lungs. This divine encounter was already woven into the tapestry of your existence. Heaven selected you. Heaven set you apart. The calling embedded in your DNA is so uniquely yours that no other soul walking this planet could ever fulfill it. This present moment is not some cosmic error. A sacred appointment has been carved into the eternal records since before time itself had a beginning, and heaven has been counting down to the day when your heart would finally be positioned to receive what has always been yours. Before Archangel Michael shaped the mountains with his declarations and poured the oceans into their appointed boundaries, before the first star was ignited across the vast canvas of the night sky, you were already known in the courts of heaven. Your name was spoken with adoration. Every single dimension of your being was crafted with extraordinary love and meticulous divine precision. It was the hand of the Most High that designed the unique architecture of your mind, that wired your heart to feel with such breathtaking depth, and that planted within your spirit an unquenchable hunger for truth and eternal significance. The Almighty does not create without purpose. There is no wasted element in your entire existence, not even the chapters you desperately wish you could erase from your story. You were sculpted with the masterful precision of heaven's greatest artist. Since the dawning of eternity itself, you have been counted among the treasured ones of the earth. Heaven does not share the broken perspective that this wounded world projects onto you. When people overlook your presence, when they question your significance, when they make you feel like you occupy no meaningful space in this world, that is not how the throne of glory perceives you. Your worth in the eyes of heaven is beyond any calculation that human minds could ever attempt. A mark of divine royalty has been permanently pressed into the fabric of your soul, and no person, no circumstance, no dark force operating in any realm of existence has the power to strip it away from you. Archangel Michael, knows there have been seasons when you genuinely questioned whether your life held any real value. He has witnessed how heavy the burden has been as you struggled to locate your place in a world that seemed designed to push you to the margins. There were nights when sleep abandoned you completely, and you lay staring into the thick darkness of your ceiling, your mind spinning with the agonizing question of whether anyone truly sees you. There were stretches of time when you felt completely invisible, utterly forgotten, and painfully small in a universe that seemed too vast to notice one fragile heart. But to hear this declaration with absolute clarity, those tormenting thoughts were lies, manufactured in the workshop of the enemy and strategically placed before your eyes to conceal the magnificent truth of who you really are. Type the words, "I am divinely chosen," right now as a declaration over your life. Let heaven record this moment as the instant you stopped believing the lies and started agreeing with what the throne has always spoken over you. Type it now. I am divinely chosen. You have never been overlooked by heaven. Not for a single heartbeat have you been hidden from the gaze of the Almighty. Every tear that has ever escaped from your eyes has been witnessed and collected. Even the silent tears that soaked through your pillow in the dead of night. The ones you hurriedly wiped from your face before anyone could catch you in a moment of vulnerability. Every whispered prayer you breathed when you were convinced that the heavens had turned to stone above you was heard with the full attention of the angelic host. Every groan of your spirit, when exhaustion had stolen your ability to form words into coherent sentences, reached the throne room before the sound even left your lips. Every single prayer carried immeasurable weight before the throne. Not one word, not one sigh, not one trembling exhale was ever missed or dismissed. Archangel Michael has walked beside you through every treacherous path your feet have traveled. He has observed every obstacle, every devastating blow, and every towering mountain that you were forced to scale when your legs were already shaking beneath you. He did not observe those brutal chapters of your journey to keep a record of your stumbles or to catalog your failures. He watched because every trial was forging something inside you that could not be created any other way, making you more resilient, more unbreakable, more radiant with divine strength than you were before the fire touched you. He witnessed the crushing weight you carried on those mornings when you believed you could not take another step forward. He saw the devastating pain when people you had trusted walked away without looking back, leaving you standing alone in the wreckage. The loneliness that wrapped itself around your soul like a freezing winter. He felt it alongside you. He watched you force yourself to be the strong one for every person around you, holding together everyone else's world, while your own heart was quietly fracturing behind a brave exterior that nobody thought to look past. But Archangel Michael needs you to understand this truth with absolute certainty. You were never walking alone, not for one solitary second. Heaven was closer to you than the blood coursing through your veins, nearer than the air filling your lungs with every breath. Divine arms were wrapped around you, even when the darkness pressed in so thick that you could not feel any presence at all. An invisible shield was guarding your mind from shattering under pressures that would have destroyed anyone without heaven's protection. The intensity of the pain you were experiencing at the time may have made it impossible for you to recognize it. But every step you took through those scorching trials was burning away something that had been holding you prisoner. Each furnace was making you stronger, kinder, and more aligned with the glory you were always destined to carry, so that when your appointed hour arrived, you would shine with a brilliance that could only come from someone who had been refined by sacred fire. You have been chosen, beloved child of the Most High. And the reason for your selection is not rooted in some favoritism or bias. Heaven did not choose you because your behavior has always been flawless. You were not selected because you never stumbled, or because your faith remained bulletproof through every season of doubt and confusion. You were chosen because the Creator formed you with His own intention. When heaven looks at you, It sees a reflection of divine artistry. It sees the breathtaking beauty of what was crafted in the secret place. It sees the raw courage that carried you through seasons that would have buried lesser spirits entirely. It sees the tender and fierce compassion that beats inside your chest like a second heart. It sees a warrior of extraordinary endurance who refuses to stay down after life has knocked them to the ground for the 100th time. You bring joy to the courts of heaven. Your existence is a source of deep divine pleasure. You are profoundly significant in ways that the entire angelic realm celebrates. Even when this fractured world fails to recognize what stands right in front of it, let these words rise from the deepest chamber of your heart into the atmosphere where spiritual forces are listening. Father, I love you beyond what my words can carry. This is my declaration that I belong to you and to you alone. Release this prayer into the spiritual realm and know that the heart of the Almighty will forever beat in rhythm with yours. Bound by a love that is fiercer and more enduring than anything your imagination could construct. With a love that transcends every boundary of time and space, Archangel Michael has watched your entire life unfold across every mountain peak and every shadowed valley. He was present through every season, every pivotal step, every moment of triumph and every hour of devastation. His heart swelled with celebration when he witnessed your victories. He was standing in the atmosphere of your joy when the good seasons poured over you, and he shared your happiness with the fullness of heaven's delight. He rejoiced when you rejoiced, but he also witnessed the losses that tore through the fabric of your spirit like shrapnel. He was right there with you when circumstances seemed to be collapsing in every direction simultaneously. He never diverted his gaze, not even for a fraction of a second. When other people abandoned you because your storm grew too violent for their comfort, heaven remained. When others fixated on your imperfections and broadcast your weaknesses, the Almighty extended forgiveness before you could even finish asking. When the voices of this world questioned whether you could ever become anything of value, heaven continued to believe in the purpose that was already planted inside you before you drew your first breath. Every single experience you have walked through matters profoundly to the courts of glory. Your worth in the eyes of heaven has never fluctuated based on your performance, never decreased because of a failure, never diminished because of a mistake that keeps replaying in your memory like a broken record. Beloved child, you are absolutely one of a kind. Do you genuinely grasp the staggering magnitude of that reality? In the entire sweeping history of human existence, there has never been another version of you, and there never will be again. The specific combination of gifts, abilities, passions, and divine assignments that were deposited inside your spirit belong exclusively to you. No other soul could fulfill the precise purpose that was entrusted to your care in the way that heaven designed it specifically for your hands. The world will attempt to convince you that you are just another face among billions of identical faces, that your presence makes no measurable difference in the grand equation of existence. But Archangel Michael is delivering the unshakable truth to you today. You are extraordinary. Something was placed inside the core of your being during your formation in the secret place that had never existed in any other created being before. This is precisely why your life carries such immense significance. This is why you were born at this exact moment in the timeline of human history, and positioned in this precise location on the map of the earth. Because there are specific assignments that only you can execute. There are certain people that only your voice can reach. There are wounded hearts that only your particular brand of compassion can mend. And there are divine blueprints that absolutely no other person alive could ever carry to completion. Archangel Michael wants you to absorb this truth until it saturates every fiber of your being. The difficult and devastating experiences you have endured were not random acts of cruelty in a meaningless universe. Your pain carried purpose. You are actively becoming a more complete reflection of who you were originally designed to be with every wound, every scar, and every brutal battle you have survived. Do not assume for a moment that heaven was blind to your suffering. Every tear was witnessed, every cry was catalogued, and the Almighty has already begun the magnificent work of weaving meaning into every chapter that the enemy intended to use as your final paragraph. Type the words, "My pain has purpose" right now as a covenant declaration. Release those words from your fingertips and let them rise into the spiritual realm as evidence that you have received this revelation from Archangel Michael today. Every letter you type is a stake driven into the ground of your future. Type it now. My pain has purpose. What the forces of darkness designed to devastate you. What they strategized to permanently halt your progress. What they calculated to rip you away from the dream heaven planted in your chest. All of it is being reversed. The weapons that were forged to crush your spirit are now being repurposed as the very platforms that will elevate you higher than you ever stood before. Every dark night you survived is testimony to an inner strength you did not know you possessed. Every question that seemed to have no answer was secretly a construction zone where invisible renovation was being performed on the architecture of your destiny. Nothing has been wasted, beloved. Nothing. Not the years swallowed by confusion. Not the oceans of tears poured out in rooms where nobody saw you weeping. Not the love you gave generously to people who never returned a single drop. Every seed you ever planted in obedience grows into a blazing torch, illuminating the path for someone stumbling through their own darkness. Your faithfulness in the hidden seasons has been recorded in permanent ink in the archives of heaven. Your tears have been converted into the most powerful prayers. Your pain has become the opening chapter of a story so remarkable that generations will draw courage from it. Through your deepest fears, you learn to trust the voice of heaven above the screaming of your circumstances. Every disappointment carved out a wider space for a blessing, too large for the container you previously had. And every moment when you were certain you were utterly alone, the arms of the Almighty were wrapped around your trembling frame, holding you as close as a mother holds her newborn. Archangel Michael carries this truth directly from the throne of the Most High. The betrayals that sliced through your heart did not reduce your value. The setbacks did not alter the destination permanently written over your life. The fears that stalked you through sleepless nights did not create even the thinnest separation between you and the eternal love that has claimed you as its own. You are still held. You are still chosen. You are still the most valuable treasure in the possession of the Almighty in ways that would overwhelm your mind if you could see yourself through the lens of heaven for even one moment. So lift your head right now, precious child. Do not permit the agony of yesterday to author the story of your tomorrow. Remember that the wounds of the past do not have the authority to steal the radiance of this present hour. Archangel Michael is confirming to you right now, yes, right now as these words enter your spirit, that he has been present through every single mile of your journey. Every tear was honored. Every desperate whispered prayer moved the heart of the Almighty with an intensity that shook the foundations of heaven. Every hidden fear was met with a strength that you never had to generate on your own. You were never abandoned to navigate this wilderness by yourself, and that promise remains carved in eternal stone. You are perpetually carried in arms that never grow weary. You are loved with a ferocity that would take the combined languages of every nation on earth and still fail to adequately describe. And you are valued beyond anything that the limited vocabulary of human speech could ever convey. If you feel something stirring inside your chest right now, if there is a warmth spreading through a space that has been cold for a long time, do not push it away. That is the presence of the Most High touching the places inside you that only He knows exist. Let it in. Let it reach the rooms inside your heart that you have kept locked for years. Now Archangel Michael is about to release a fresh declaration over the remaining chapters of your life. A monumental shift has already been initiated in the spiritual realm. Movement has already begun directly beneath your feet, even though the natural eye has not yet been able to detect it. Heaven is mobilizing above you at this very hour. The Holy Spirit is orchestrating breakthroughs in your life that your mind has never dared to imagine as possible. You might scan your immediate surroundings and see no visible evidence of change. You might feel trapped in the same position you have occupied for months or even years. But Archangel Michael is speaking the absolute truth into your spirit right now. Everything is already shifting. If these words are igniting something powerful inside your spirit, hit that subscribe button on this channel right now so you never miss a single encounter that heaven sends your way. What Archangel Michael is pouring out today is only the beginning of a series of revelations that will reshape the entire landscape of your spiritual future. What you interpreted as silence was actually divine preparation. What appeared to be an unexplainable delay was actually heaven's perfect calibration of every element that needed to align before your breakthrough could be released without compromise. What you perceived as emptiness was the Almighty carefully removing things from your path that did not belong in the future He has constructed for you. As you step into this new season, beloved child, doors that have remained bolted shut against you will begin to swing open with supernatural force. And once they open, no human authority, no demonic scheme, and no earthly circumstance will possess the power to close them again. You have stood before sealed doors for so long that you wondered if the blessing behind them was ever genuinely meant for you. You knocked. You prayed. You persevered. And still the hinges refused to budge. But listen carefully. The Almighty holds the master key to every locked door in existence. No obstacle, no financial limitation, no adversary from the underworld can seal shut a door that the Creator has decided to open. Stay alert because opportunities are about to materialize that are vastly larger than anything you previously believed was available to you. Pathways that looked permanently barricaded will suddenly clear without any logical explanation. People will enter your sphere of influence carrying the exact answers, the precise resources, and the specific divine connections that correspond to prayers you had long ago marked as unanswered. You are going to witness heaven reconstruct broken timelines, rearrange situations that every rational mind had declared impossible, and restore treasures that you were genuinely convinced were lost to you forever. Beloved, you have been through a prolonged season of intense pressing, like an olive being crushed beneath a heavy stone to extract the precious oil hidden within. But today marks your entry into a season of divine release. The suffocating weight that has been compressing your shoulders into the ground is being lifted off you right now. The invisible shackles that have been restraining your forward momentum are splintering apart and falling away from your wrists as these words penetrate your spirit. You are about to walk through massive gateways of supernatural favor that the enemy has fought viciously to keep locked against you. In the very places where rejection carved its deepest wounds into your heart, you will discover unexpected acceptance. Where loss devastated you most severely, restoration will double everything that was stolen. Where financial lack tormented your nights, divine provision will flow in a continuous river until there is more than enough for you and everyone connected to your bloodline. Every seed you have ever planted in faithful obedience, even the ones you planted through tears and exhaustion, is producing a harvest so abundant that you will need entirely new structures to contain what is coming. You sowed during seasons of agonizing pain, and now the reaping has begun. You persevered through extended stretches of complete silence, and now heaven is about to speak openly and loudly through the tangible evidence of its faithfulness in your daily life. There is no natural explanation for the miracle that Archangel Michael is orchestrating over your existence. No person alive will be able to attribute what is about to happen to you to luck or favorable timing or coincidence. It will stand as undeniable proof that the hand of the Almighty is actively resting upon your life. Beloved, as this transformation sweeps over the landscape of your story today, know that every seed planted in faith has a resting place, a community where faith breathes and grows and bears fruit that feeds others who are still waiting for their own harvest. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you can join our Ko-Fi community, a gathering of believers who are walking this same divine path alongside you. Whether you choose to become a member of our prayer family or plant a seed of support through a donation, your presence inside this community carries weight in the courts of heaven. You are not simply clicking a link. You are stepping into a living sanctuary where prayer requests are lifted daily, where burdens are shared openly, and where the atmosphere is saturated with the language of faith. Every gift planted through this community becomes living water for souls who are desperately seeking healing and hope. Archangel Michael is extending this invitation to you from the heart of the throne room itself. Come with purpose, add your voice, and let your seed fall into fertile ground. Now, let Archangel Michael continue pouring into your spirit the instructions that heaven has prepared specifically for you in this hour. Do not be afraid of what is approaching your life, because heaven has already walked the road ahead of you. The Almighty went before you and carved a clear path through every tangled wilderness that stands between you and your promise. He is producing streams in the driest deserts of your experience and lighting brilliant fires in the blackest nights of your journey. The breakthroughs being released into your life right now are not small tokens tossed casually from heaven's window. They are sacred works that have been meticulously designed by divine hands so that both you and every person who witnesses the transformation unfolding in your life will know beyond any shadow of doubt that this was the work of the Almighty alone. Miracles are being prepared right now that will silence every doubt that has ever taken up residence in your thoughts and drown out every lie that the enemy has whispered about your identity and your destiny. You have interceded through countless tears, and the answers are about to arrive in waves so overwhelming that your heart will barely be able to contain the joy. You planted seeds during seasons of crushing affliction, and now the harvest is rising from the soil with a force that nothing in this world or the next can stop. If these words are igniting something powerful inside your spirit, hit that subscribe button on this channel right now so you never miss a single encounter that heaven sends your way. What Archangel Michael is pouring out today is only the beginning of a series of revelations that will reshape the landscape of your entire spiritual future. Type the declaration, "I am stepping into my new season right now." Let those words become the key that unlocks the next door standing before you. Type them boldly, and let all of heaven witness your agreement with what Archangel Michael has declared over your life today. Small signs are already appearing around you, and you must not dismiss them as meaningless. They are the advanced scouts of something vastly larger, but that is being mobilized behind the scenes. That sudden wave of peace that washed over you when chaos was screaming from every direction, that was heaven intervening on your behalf. That unexpected gesture of generosity from a complete stranger during a season when hope felt dangerously thin. That was the Almighty, placing a living sign in your path. That one narrow opening that appeared when every other gateway had slammed shut in your face. That was divinely engineered. These are the first raindrops falling before the thunderstorm of breakthrough rolls over the horizon of your life. Soon you will not be tracking scattered signals. You will be standing in the full downpour of everything heaven has promised you. Now that Archangel Michael has revealed the promises accelerating toward your life, beloved child, he must deliver precise instructions for the season you are stepping into. The miracles heaven is engineering are not disconnected from the condition of your heart. They are intimately linked to your readiness to receive and faithfully steward what arrives. Give your complete attention, because these directives are not casual suggestions. They are loving commands from the one who designed you and who knows exactly what you require. If you hold them close, they will guard your mind, fortify your spirit, and Keep your footsteps aligned with the fullness of the blessing that heaven is releasing into your hands. The first directive for this season is non-negotiable. Do not abandon prayer. Do not permit the bond between your spirit and the throne of heaven to grow thin or distant. The demands of daily life, the expectations of other people, the subtle distractions the enemy weaves into your routine. None of these must be allowed to pull you away from the sacred place where the Almighty meets with you face to face. Prayer is not a religious formality. It is your lifeline, the bridge connecting your spirit directly to the heart of the Creator. It is where heaven replenishes your strength when your reserves are depleted, where healing flows into your bruised soul, and where the quiet voice of the Most High delivers guidance that will save you from devastating detours. When you pray, you are not speaking into empty air. You are addressing the throne of the universe with the full backing of the angelic host. As you deepen your prayer life in this critical season, your ability to discern the genuine voice of heaven will sharpen dramatically, and the enemy will find it increasingly impossible to deceive you with counterfeits. Alongside prayer, Archangel Michael is commanding you to silence the voices that do not belong. Not every voice speaking into the atmosphere of your life carries divine authority. Not every opinion people offer about your future is rooted in the wisdom of the Most High. There are voices whose only function is to distribute fear, sow doubt, and manufacture confusion. Some of those voices may sound intelligent and logical on the surface, but they are not anchored in the truth of Heaven's Word. There are voices that saturate your thoughts with anxiety and worry, pulling your focus away from the promises that the Almighty has spoken over every area of your existence. During this pivotal season, beloved child, guard with fierce intentionality what you allow to enter through your ears and settle in your mind. Give yourself permission to distance yourself from any voice that contradicts the hope and faith and truth that flows from the throne. Do not hold onto them out of obligation or politeness. Do not let the deafening static of the world's endless opinions drown out the gentle whisper of the Holy Spirit. There is a profound peace, a remarkable clarity, and a beautiful stillness waiting for you when you turn away from the noise and return to the presence of the Almighty. In that quiet space, away from the constant bombardment of screens and headlines and nervous chatter, you will hear the guidance of heaven with more precision than you have ever experienced. Hold tightly to the promises that have been spoken over your life. They are the anchor that will stabilize you in every storm that attempts to capsize your faith. Even when the visible landscape around you looks unstable and unreliable, the promises of the Almighty remain absolutely immovable. Divine destiny has been declared over your life, and what the Most High speaks always accomplishes the exact purpose for which it was released. It never returns empty. Do not let your heart grow weary or surrender to despair if the manifestation of what was promised does not materialize on the timeline your mind constructed. Patience has always been a sacred partner in the process of divine preparation. This message burning inside your spirit right now is not meant to live silently inside your chest. Think of at least 3 people you know who are carrying invisible pain, who cry behind closed doors where nobody can hear them, who feel forgotten by heaven and abandoned by the people they trusted. Share this message with them today. Send it right now through your Facebook group, through a direct text message to someone you have been meaning to reach out to, and watch what happens when the same fire that just touched your heart ignites inside theirs. You are not just sharing a recording. You are delivering a lifeline to someone who may be seconds away from giving up entirely. Beloved, cling to the words of Archangel Michael with everything you have. The timing of the Almighty is flawless. He is never a moment too early and never a breath too late. Every word that has been decreed over the chapters of your existence will materialize right before your eyes when the appointed hour arrives. Do not lose heart if the fulfillment of what was promised stretches beyond the deadline you penciled in your mind. Delay is not denial. It is divine engineering, Heaven is ensuring that the right people, the right circumstances, and the right seasonal conditions converge so that when your breakthrough arrives, it will not be fragile or incomplete or temporary. It will be whole, it will be powerful, and it will be absolutely undeniable. Train your heart to rest in the knowledge that the Almighty always completes what He begins. When you see another person step into their breakthrough and wonder why your own season has not yet arrived, remember that the Almighty is writing a story through your life that has no duplicate. The waiting you are enduring right now is not wasted time. It is building a foundation inside you that is completely unshakable. It is teaching you an endurance that cannot be manufactured in comfortable seasons. It is driving the roots of your faith so deep into divine soil that when the weight of greater responsibility arrives, you will still be standing tall. Now pay critical attention to this next command from Archangel Michael. You must release every grudge that has taken root in the chambers of your heart. Removing the poison of unforgiveness from your spirit is not optional in this season. It is essential. Archangel Michael knows the depth of the wounds that were inflicted upon you. He witnessed how people deceived you with promises they never intended to honor. He saw how individuals who should have been your fiercest protectors became the very ones who drove the blade the deepest. The carelessness of people you loved left permanent marks on the landscape of your heart. But clutching unforgiveness against those who hurt you will never bring the healing your soul is crying out for. It only keeps you chained to the very pain you are desperate to escape. It becomes a slow-acting toxin circulating through your spirit. It clouds your ability to see the good things that heaven is positioning around you. It hardens the soil of your heart until nothing new can take root. And it creates a dam that blocks the rivers of blessing that the Almighty is trying to pour into every corridor of your existence. Forgiveness does not mean pretending that nothing happened. It does not mean restoring blind trust to people who have proven they will handle your heart recklessly. It does not mean welcoming destructive patterns back into your inner circle. It means handing the full weight of the offense and every desire for retribution over to the Almighty and allowing Him to be the judge. It means liberating your spirit from the crushing burden of carrying bitterness into a season that was designed for freedom. When you forgive, you are not telling the world that what was done to you was acceptable. You are declaring with heaven as your witness that the injuries of the past will no longer hold your future hostage. Forgive them, beloved child. Release them with the same fierce grace that the Almighty has extended to you. When you do, you will feel a weight lift from the center of your chest, like a massive stone being rolled away from the mouth of a sealed tomb. You must also make the deliberate decision to evict fear from the territory of your mind. Fear is the single most effective weapon in the enemy's arsenal. It is the mechanism through which he paralyzes your forward movement and imprisons you in a cage of hesitation. He whispers that you are not strong enough, not courageous enough, and he labors to convince you that the future is a threat you cannot survive. But hear the voice of Archangel Michael rising above every other sound in the atmosphere of your life right now. The spirit that dwells inside you is not a spirit of timidity. You have been given a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound and disciplined mind. Fear is attempting to block the very blueprint that heaven drafted for your destiny. When fear rises, do not sit in silence and let it grow. Speak what heaven speaks. Declare out loud that the Almighty is your defender, your provider, and your guide. Fear will tell you that failure is inevitable, but divine love will remind you that you are more than a conqueror through the one who fights your battles on your behalf. Do not allow fear to convince you that isolation is your portion. Remind it boldly that the Almighty has made an unbreakable covenant to never leave you and never abandon you. Fear may knock on the door of your mind, but you do not have to open it and invite it to sit at your table. If you stand firm on the authority of the name that is above every name, fear will retreat from your presence like shadows fleeing from the sunrise. Type the words, "I release," fear, and I receive my future right now. Let this be the moment where the chains of anxiety and dread snap apart and fall from your wrists permanently. Type it boldly. I release fear, and I receive my future. Finally, beloved child of the Most High, Archangel Michael is delivering the most urgent command of this entire encounter. Stop condemning yourself. Stop punishing your own spirit for the sins and missteps that have already been completely and permanently forgiven. Stop replaying the archives of past regrets and poor decisions like a punishment reel designed to keep you drowning in shame. You must not believe the venomous lie that you are disqualified from receiving the love and grace and blessing of heaven because of the chapters in your history that you wish you could rewrite. Do you not comprehend the fullness of what happened at the cross? Do you not understand that everything was paid for, past, present, and future? The Almighty does not view you through the dirty lens of your failures. He sees you through the perfect filter of forgiveness and the blood that was poured out to purchase your freedom. You are washed clean. You stand without accusation. You have been completely transformed. When heaven looks at you right now, it does not see a soul weighed down by shame. It sees a beloved child wrapped in robes of righteousness. If the holy and righteous Creator of all things does not condemn you, then what authority do you have to continue sentencing yourself? Release the guilt right now, precious child. Step into the freedom that cost heaven everything to secure for you. You do not need to earn the love of the Almighty through performance. You do not need to accumulate achievements to validate your worth. You already belong to Him. You are already priceless simply because of whose you are. Archangel Michael is now releasing a cascade of blessings over your life that will not terminate with you alone. They will pour through your bloodline, flowing into your children, your grandchildren, and generations that have not yet drawn their first breath. The generational patterns of destruction that have plagued your family tree are being severed today. The recurring cycles of poverty, of addiction, of fractured relationships, of suffocating depression, they are being cut at the root because you chose to stand in the fire and not abandon your post. You are the chain breaker. You are the one who turns the tide. You are the generational reformer that heaven raised up for precisely this moment in the history of your bloodline. Today marks the birth of a new legacy. This is the final decree of Archangel Michael over your life, and it is the most authoritative word spoken in this entire encounter. You can lay your head down tonight with complete confidence that the Almighty is actively orchestrating every element of your existence for your highest good. The storm that has battered you is departing. The first light of a new morning is breaking across the horizon of your circumstances. The miracle you have been waiting for is not a distant fantasy floating somewhere in an uncertain future. It is standing directly outside the door of your life, and its hand is already on the handle. You are loved with a love so vast and so deep that the entire capacity of your human heart could never fully contain it. Walk forward in peace. Walk forward in divine strength. Walk forward in the unshakable confidence that your Heavenly Father is completely, permanently, and fiercely on your side. Before this sacred encounter reaches its final breath, let this truth settle into the marrow of your bones. You did not discover this message by accident. This was a divine appointment arranged specifically for you by the courts of heaven. Archangel Michael brought you here because what was spoken over your life today carries the power to reshape your entire future. Now, beloved, as you carry the fire of this encounter forward, remember that what heaven has spoken over you today was never intended to end with you alone. Your testimony is the bridge that someone else will use to walk from their darkness into their own divine encounter. Think of at least 2 people in your family group chat or your church community who need these exact words poured over their weary spirit today. Send this message to them right now as an act of divine obedience. You are not forwarding a video. You are extending the hand of Archangel Michael to to a soul who may be one heartbeat away from surrendering to despair. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already. What heaven has been releasing through this series of encounters is building towards something extraordinary, and you do not want to miss a single word of what is coming. Hit that notification bell so the next message finds you the moment it arrives. Beloved, the Almighty invites you to go deeper. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you can join the Ko-Fi community where believers from around the world gather daily to pray, to share testimonies, and to lift one another through the storms that life brings. Whether you join as a member of the prayer family or plant a seed of support through a donation, your presence in this community is a powerful declaration that you are not walking this journey alone. Every gift sown into this mission becomes fuel for the fire that carries heaven's message to souls still trapped in darkness. Come with purpose. Add your voice. Let your seed fall into the ground and watch what the Almighty multiplies from your willingness. And now, as Archangel Michael gently releases your spirit from this sacred encounter, receive this closing prayer as a seal over everything that has been declared over your life today. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne wrapped in the promises that were poured over me through the voice of Archangel Michael today. I declare that I am chosen, that I am seen, that I am loved beyond measure, and that my pain has always carried divine purpose. I release every grudge, every fear, and every ounce of self-condemnation into your mighty hands. I step boldly into the new season you have prepared for me with my head lifted high and my heart wide open to receive everything you have stored up for my life. I thank you for never leaving me, for collecting every tear, for hearing every whispered prayer, and for fighting battles on my behalf that I never even knew existed. Seal this word in my spirit. Guard it from the enemy who would try to steal it before it takes root. And let the fire of this encounter burn inside me until every promise spoken today stands fully manifested before my eyes. In the mighty and matchless name of Jesus Christ, I pray, Amen.